4 years of your life, you are confined in a school full of other teenagers and young adults, such as yourself. We call this high school, or where I'm from, we call it secondary school, but it's high school. Um, and for a lot of people, you go through elementary school, you go through middle school, and then you go through high school. I just did elementary school for like 8 years, which is a lot longer than most. That's just how it is where I'm from. And then I did 4 years of high school. I did 5 years of high school actually, because you're allowed to do a fifth year. That's what I did. And high school's interesting. It's not it's not what everyone makes it out to be. It's not where you're going out and it's like this, TV drama like I don't know, fucking Riverdale or Euphoria or something like that. It's weird. It's a weird transitional period, and I don't think anyone really describes it like that. But that's exactly what it is. You're going from being a kid to being an adult. And high school is an important place for social development. And that's kind of what people don't understand. If I knew this during high school or going into high school, my approach would have been vastly different. You see, in high school, I was always, like, admittedly, I was always kind of on the lower part of the pecking order, I guess you could say. Um, I had friends, and like, I got along with people. Don't get me wrong, but I was never up there, and mostly in part to my own fault. I'm not gonna say, oh, I was bullied and whatnot. No, that was me because I didn't understand. Like, I'm the oldest of three kids in my family. So I didn't really have anyone from this generation to tell me, listen, going into it, this is what you expect. I didn't have that. And, the image of high school that I had in my head from, like, media and TV shows, movies, books, what have you, is vastly different from what it was. See, when you think of high school media, you think of all the drama and the cliques within people. You got your nerds, your jocks, your goths, your preppy kids. It looks like a scene out of Mean Girls where it's like a string of teenage girls walking and they're all wearing pink, and one of them falls over into a trash can because that's just how it goes. It's not like that. The drama that goes on in high school, it exists, but it doesn't. It's like, you know, people are still people are still busy trying to pass their classes, and everyone's just kind of like high school is kind of a blur, but everyone's just emotionally dormant. And I think that has to do in part with social media. Everyone's too busy like scrolling, and like you might get like a splash of like gossip here and there, but it's just everyone's just kind of doom scrolling back then. Back to the topic at hand. High school is that place for social development. And what's scary is when you take a look at how high school is perceived to be, where it's like people are being social and going to parties, and yeah, there's a pecking order, but like you still kind of have to learn your way around that like bubbled society that is within the school. It's not like that at all. Everyone's just busy doom scrolling on their phones. That kind of fucks everyone up socially. And this might be very controversial, but yeah, bullying is not good. It's not. But there's like a theoretical aspect of it. And I'll explain myself with this, but there's a theoretical aspect of it where it's like enough bullying. I guess you could really just say like in teasing, right? Enough of that can kind of correct a person, or I guess like a kid's uh social development. And like I'm not completely blowing the whistle of like the whole bring back bullying. It's like no, that's kind of not the answer, but there needs to be like it's almost an over inclusion. People are like over inclusive and over accepting. There are some things that just shouldn't fly. And it's like if you want to bash me for that, go ahead. I mean, like I'm just a guy with a shiesty talking to a camera in his room. Like I'm no authority. If you want to argue with me, by all means, like tell me in the comments. But I'll use myself an example. I didn't like. I was very slow. I was a bit late bloomer. I was very slow to develop in high school. Um, I was very shy. I was kind of a pussy. I won't even lie to you. Um, and I wouldn't really like latch on to social cues. So it it took some bullying to kind of like get me to realize, and like COVID hit and I kind of realized it like a bit later, but like it took a fair bit of bullying to kind of say like, oh yeah, I was being a fucking dumbass, so maybe I should like change how I act. And like the big funny enough, the big switch was I had actually in my last year, in my 12th grade year, I had joined the football team. And I come from a smaller city. Um, not even in the. I'm actually from. And football, like it doesn't have as big of a culture as it does in the U.S. It still very much exists. But I was able to like just basically walk onto that team, and I was in. I played offensive line because I'm a big fat boy, so no one could get through me. It was actually really fun. Um, but like the team was full of guys who are more mature than me, and they kind of, I don't want to say push me around. They kind of like teased me into being a bit more mature. So it's like it's like halfway through the season, I would really start to like change and realize like, you know what? It's a lot better when like you have a bit more confidence. And it's weird, and maybe it's just me, but the teasing aspect, if you're being teased or bullied, you kind of have to ask why. And in its stereotypical sense, it's bullying because the bully might be abused at home or is trying to make other people feel small so they can feel big, or jealousy or whatever. And it's like I'm not gonna deny that does happen, but it's also it it leaves the opportunity for introspection. And I don't want to come off as like a complete conformist, but there needs to be an aspect of like, you're within the social norms. If you walk around high school where dressed as a furry, and you go home and you're crying your eyes out and saying, "Why is everyone bullying me? Why is everyone so mean? I just want to do what I like." Why do you think? I'm sorry, but it's like, why do you think? If that's what you enjoy, okay. I think it's weird, but like, alright, whatever. But don't don't go into a public place, dress the way you are, and then have the gall to wonder why people are bullying you. It doesn't work like that. Do you think I did 5 years, 4 or 5 years of high school in a shiesty? Huh? Because if I did, people are gonna look at me and say, "Oh, well, look at Nuke. Nuke is fucking weird." Like, what do you expect? If you have different interests, then it's like by all means go out and show them. You know, incorporate something about your interests into what you do, or like say what you wear at school every day. So it's like you could still kind of fit in, but still be your own self. Like me, for instance, I've always been into like cars and motorsport and everything, right? You could like in the back, where is it? Right there. That's a painting of Michael Schumacher's
2006.
Ferrari. You know, like I'm a big F1 guy. I like race. I'm wearing a Hoonigan shirt. R.I.P. Ken Block. But it's like so it's like I would go into school and I might be wearing like a Ferrari shirt, or something like that, like something racing related. And like no one would really like question it. Like, yeah, there's
Nuke.
he just likes racing, he just likes motorsport. You could do the same if you're into like more nerdy shit. I'm like relatively into nerdy shit. Right beside my Michael Schumacher painting, that's a Star Wars Revenge of the Sith poster. I'm into nerdy shit. I listen to fucking MF Doom. I put it at like one of his beats as my intro. I'm into nerdy shit. So it's like if you walk into school and you're wearing, I don't know, a Spider-Man shirt, or if you're wearing like an anime shirt, or don't wear like, I mean, maybe you could get away with it. I was gonna say like don't wear like those fucking Ahiago sweaters, but it's like some people get away with it, and some low key some people can actually style it really well. I would never wear one. I'm not like, I'm kind of an anime fan. Like I watched One Punch Man and My Hero Academia up to like season 5, and I'm like watching Naruto, like the first. I'm getting off top, but yeah, like I can fuck with anime, um, but like you can incorporate your interests into something in high school without expecting to be bullied, and like that's going back to the topic. In doing so, that's you socially developing, right? So if you get bullied about like you come to school dressed as Naruto and then you get bullied, so it's like you kind of tone it down and just wear like a Naruto shirt, and it's like you come back to school wearing that Naruto shirt, and it's so you that in itself is like development. So it's like it sucks, and it's like it's trial by fire, but you kind of have to ask yourself why. Well, why are people kind of not fucking with me? And it's like, well, because you dress as Naruto, because you dress in a fursuit. Like I'm not for bringing back bullying, but like teasing, yeah, yeah. Some people kind of need it. Some people really do need it. I needed it. Like I was a vastly, vastly different person starting high school versus finishing. And I know a few people that went into high school and left the exact same, more or less. That's not good. There's a lot of fear. Like, I'll admit, there's a lot of fear, especially going into high school. Anyone that's gone through high school or is going through high school, so most, if not everyone watching, probably understands. There's a lot of fear going into it. One thing that I wish someone had told me is you're gonna be here for 4 to 5 years. In that time, you have to be selfish. You have to look out for yourself. Meaning, consider the fact that you're socially developing. You're going from a kid to an adult. So you kind of have to take the bull by the horns. If you're going in and you're immature, like me, going in, I was immature, I was fat, still am, and you're unconfident, you kind of have to take that opportunity and go through it and use that like set platform to better yourself. And in doing so, you're setting yourself up better for adulthood and college or university when you eventually go. One of the big fears, and I know a lot of young guys are, probably considering this and going through high school, one of the big fears is getting a girlfriend. Like, la di da. In my last NSN, I was talking about, how with getting a girlfriend, if you're kind of like on the lower end is harsh. If you're kind of like unconfident, you're immature and whatnot, you lack social awareness, like that sort of thing, then it's like you don't deserve one because you're not like you yourself are not in that good of a position. So, how do you expect to get with someone else? But high school is a very, very, very good position that you're in to kind of make yourself like get yourself to become deserving of like finding a girlfriend. Whether you stick with her or not is up to you. I'm not gonna tell you yes, I'm not gonna tell you no. That's your business. But even then, like toxically speaking, you kind of it's trial grounds. It's a trial grounds. So you're gonna be there for 4 to 5 years. Do what you gotta do. You know, you can ask out girls. You can ask out girls with like 2 million snap score, 1 million snap score, and be like, "Oh yeah, guys, we have a real connection, and I love her, and I think she's a virgin." It's, but shit like that, and it's like it might be hard. It might be surprisingly easy. You don't know until you try it, but after that, most 90% of people there, not like at least 90% of people there, you're not ever going to see them ever again. Period. You're not going to see these people, and even if you do see them, you might see them passing by on the street, or you go to the same McDonald's as they go to, shit like that. Like you might see them once in a blue moon, if at all. I've barely seen most people from high school, and it's been a minute. It's been like 4 years. But yeah, like you have nothing to lose. The big point is you have nothing to lose, but it comes down to understanding the fact that you yourself have every opportunity to to have free reign to really understand the social aspect. To really like develop yourself socially. But like, you know, no one's really gonna, unless you have like an older sibling, no one's really gonna tell you. No one's gonna tell you that. And it's like even if you have an older sibling, they might not tell you that. They themselves might not realize it. So, it's like you yourself have to realize that you have nothing to lose. So you gotta develop yourself socially and then take that opportunity and have free reign to figure shit out for yourself before you get to college or before you enter the workforce. You do that, you'll be set. But the first step is understanding the position you're in. That's the importance of high school. That's the importance of high school that no one, I've never heard anyone tell this to me. No one will tell you. It's always go to high school, get good grades, and hopefully get into a college or university or what have you. And that is priority one. Like the premise of high school is education. But beyond that, the social aspect is a class without a teacher. So it's like it's up to you to teach yourself. And if you do that, if you take the opportunity that high school has being an isolated social platform your game, but it's up to you. If you're fat, do a diet, hit the gym. If you're unconfident, start twisting your own arm and talk to people, talk to girls or guys. I don't know what you're into. If you're a social outcast, start start doing things that make you more social, more fit in more. If you're a Naruto fan, stop walking into class with that fucking headband.